I am Demeter, also known as Ceres in Roman. I am the goddess of grain, agriculture, harvest, growth, and nourishment, who presided over grains and the fertility of the earth. I am the middle daughter of Cronus and Rhea, and the sister of Hades, Hestia, Poseidon, Zeus, and Hera, one of the original 12 Olympians. I am also the mother of Persephone. I am usually portrayed as a fully clothed and matronly-looking woman, either enthroned and regally seated, or proudly standing with an extended hand. Sometimes I depicted riding a chariot containing my daughter Persephone, who is almost always in my vicinity. The goddesses, as we were enduringly cold, even share the same attributes and symbols: scepter, cornucopia, ears of corn, a shift of wheat, torch, and occasionally a crown of flowers. I was known mostly as the giver of food and grain, or she of the grain, for short, Sito. However, since I presided over something as vital as the cycles of plants and seasons, the ancient Greeks also referred to me as Thesmophorus, or the bringer of laws. I am the fifth child of Cronus and Rhea, but also their youngest daughter. Like my siblings, I was locked in the palace of the Titans by my father. Indeed, the king wanted to protect us, his children, from his mother Gaia, who wanted above all regain power and was willing to do anything for it. But me and my siblings were happy in spite of everything in the palace and surrounded by the love of our parents. I didn't have many partners and was rarely portrayed with a male consort. The mortal Iason and my brothers Poseidon and Zeus are the most noteworthy, if not the only, exceptions. Early in my life, I fell in love with a mortal named Iason. I seduced him at the marriage of Cadmus and Harmonia, and lay with him in a thrice-plowed field. Zeus, my brother, didn't think appropriate for such a respected goddess to have a relationship with a mortal, so he struck Iason with a thunderbolt. But by then I was already pregnant with my twins, Plotus and Pilophelus, the former god of wealth and the latter the patron of plowing. Next, my brother Poseidon forced himself upon me, and once again I became pregnant with two children, Despoina, a nymph, and Arion, a talking horse. Finally, I became Zeus' fourth wife. From our union, our most well-known child was born, Persephone. The most important myth involving me concerns my daughter Persephone's abduction by Hades and my subsequent wanderings. When Persephone is taken by Hades into the underworld with the intention of marriage, while I left to search for my missing daughter and try to restore her to the light. I searched her for 9 days, and with the help of Hecate and Helios, I soon discovered that Zeus had given Persephone to Hades for marriage. My rage turned to sorrow and despair, which impaired me from doing my work of bringing in the harvest. I went through many trials to find my daughter, and while I was sorrowful, grain would not grow in any parts of the earth like the continents of Asia and Europe. Eventually, Zeus told Hades to give my daughter Persephone back to me, but Hades offered her a meal beforehand. She ate the seeds of a pomegranate and therefore was doomed to return back to the underworld and to Hades for the last 4 months of the year. I agreed to this, and in return, food grew from the earth once again during the time Persephone was safe home with me. This was happened also in America, when a mother searched everywhere for her missing daughter. 4 days she wandered the nearby places in order for her to find her missing daughter. When she was about to give up, and all of their wealth were gone, sadness enveloped throughout her body. She could not bear to eat while her daughter was out of her sight. She refused to do so unless her missing daughter would return to her hands. When someone knocked on her door, hope was seen on her eyes. As she opened it, a shock on her face was evident, and she couldn't move because her daughter's finally back. She's very thankful that her daughter was in good hands, and their lives are slowly changing back to the times when they were happy together. In ancient Greece, the story of Persephone, the sweet daughter of mine, who was kidnapped by Hades and later became the queen of the underworld, is known all over the world. Persephone was my daughter of Zeus. She was also called Kori, which means maiden, and grew up to be a lovely girl, attracting the attention of many gods. However, I had an obsessed love for my only daughter, and kept all men away from her. The most persisting suitor of Persephone was Hades, the god of the underworld. He was a hard, middle-aged man, living in the dark, among the shadows of the dead. But his heart softened when he saw Persephone, and was amazed by his youth, beauty, and freshness. When he asked me to marry my daughter, I got furious and said there wasn't the slightest chance for that to happen. Hades was heartbroken and decided to get Persephone no matter what. One day, while the young girl was playing and picking flowers along with her friends in a valley, she beheld the most enchanting narcissus she had ever seen. As she stooped down to pick the flower, the earth beneath her feet suddenly cleaved open, and through the gap Hades himself came out on his chariot with black horses. Hades grabbed the lovely maiden before she could scream for help and descended into his underworld kingdom, while the gap in the earth closed after them. Desperately looking for Persephone, the other girls had not seen anything because everything happened very quickly. They didn't have a clue for the sudden disappearance of Persephone. The whole incident, however, had been witnessed by Zeus, father of the maiden and brother of the abductor, as well as by Helios, god of the sun. Zeus decided to keep silent about the whole thing to prevent a fight with his brother, while Helios wisely thought it better not to get involved in anything that didn't concern him. I am Demeter, the goddess of grain, agriculture, harvest, growth, and nourishment. I have only one thing to say. Follow the sun and harvest only good fruits. Plant only good seeds if you want to harvest good fruits. Follow the sun, the rays of the sun, and stay on the bright side of life. Don't neglect the purity of your soul, and if you want to pick up the good fruits of life, stay good and in faith.